Well, before we open it up for questions, I do want to extend an opportunity to my esteemed colleague and past chair of CSBS from Kentucky. The floor for a couple moments now. We're pressed for time, Charles, so you have to be brief, which is, I know, one of your skills. So
it is, and I will be. I have two comments, and then I have one question. First of all, I just want to say congratulations to Dalton, Lorelei, and Aaron on the excellent case study project that you submitted. I really do appreciate all the work you've put into this. And as a commissioner from Kentucky, I am extremely proud of the work that you put into the paper, the video, and even the presentation today. But I also want to express my appreciation and tell you that I'm very proud of the way you have represented Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky University today. So thank you very much for being great ambassadors for the state and the university. So my question, and Maggie kind of went over this a little bit, but I was wondering if each one of you could maybe just tell us a little bit about how this experience has impacted your life, maybe what you think of your future career, and then also, too, maybe a little bit on your thoughts of community banking before and after you started this project.
I can go first. Aside from meeting the wonderful people up here on the stage and establishing some great friendships with them, as I stated earlier, it really helped me understand that there's a lot more to banking than just me going to the bank and making a deposit. There's a lot more behind the scenes that I had not even thought about before, and it's really opened up a lot of interest to me in the legal field for banking. Next week, I'm going to be attending a conference that includes the emerging banking legal issues, including cryptocurrency, third-party vendor contracts. So I'm really excited for that conference and my potential career prospects in legal banking. And yeah, so would you like to go on?
Oh yeah, sure. Thanks, Dalton. So prior to this project, I was really open to whatever opportunities came my way, especially in the last year when this project ended up coming to me, I guess. I actually saw it as an opportunity for me to use some of the research skills that I had attained when I did 2 years of biomedical research at my previous university. So as a direct result from this banking competition, I now work for the Kentucky Department of Financial Institutions. So thank you very much, Commissioner Vice.
Well played, Charles.
And but eventually, I would like to get my master's degree, my MBA, and possibly take a few courses in blockchain technology. I think that's fascinating.
As Maggie said, I was an intern at Central Bank, and I absolutely loved being an intern there. I always felt really welcome, and it was a great environment and a great way to get my foot in the door at Central Bank and banking in general. With this project, it allowed me a lot of one-on-one time with a lot of the top executives at Central Bank, such as the CFO, Luther Deaton, and a lot of the other executives that we met for our meeting. So this project definitely opened up a lot of opportunities in that internship that I would not have normally done with my normal internship duties. So I am now building my career in banking, and hopefully, and I'm grateful for the learning experience for this project and help me understand the challenges and opportunities for banking and technology today.
All right, so we have time for probably a couple questions. So
I'd like to know, Stephen, who your core processor is, and how helpful they've been in your journey to try to.
We have a very engaging relationship with our core provider. As you might imagine, Fiserv is our core provider. We're a Fiserv Signature customer, and we've been working aggressively to finalize the integration with Signature and Zelle because we believe that's a critical service. We've done some other things in the meantime with mobile banking, but we think the move to Zelle is very important for us.
And you're using their mobile platform?
make sure you turn your microphone on.
Oh.
so that people online can hear you.
Are you using their mobile platform and their all their online banking and digital platform now?
We are. We're on their Carillion platform for online banking, and we're on their mobility platform for mobile.
They're going to get you to change, just so you know.
Architect is here.
I would not be surprised. We've been with them 14 years. Change is always involved.
All right, Alan, it wouldn't be a panel without a question from you.
Thanks very much. Really great job, guys. I was very impressed.
Thank you.
And one thing you taught me that I did not know, and I'm very impressed with it, is that a community bank can be very, very sophisticated in terms of their technology, and that's something we don't normally hear about. That's a very, very good message that you guys gave across. I'm going to make one suggestion, a research suggestion. You're probably done with it. You don't want to do it, but then I'm going to ask you a really hard question. The research suggestion is, remember, banks are not just profit maximizers, but they're also risk managers. And so I'd love to see, if you had time to go back and do your regressions, to also see risk on the left-hand side and see, do these technologies reduce the risk of the bank or increase the risk of the bank, whichever way it comes out. And then the really hard question I have for you is what Jim Bullard brought up this morning. With all this technology, is it the case, and it's an unfair question, but is it the case that in the future, operational risk is going to be more important to the banks than the credit risk? That's what he's suggesting may happen, and I know it's a hard question, but let's see if you can try it.
Let me address the risk component for a second. We talk about risk a lot. In addition to marketing, I serve on the risk management group as well as our ALCO group and the management team. Frankly, we believe that our investment in technology is absolutely essential because there is a significant reputation risk if we do not do these things. Lexington, Kentucky has about 38% of its residents with an advanced degree, and they demand these services. And if we're going to serve their needs and to grow our bank, we have to be able to offer them anything anyone else does.
And I'm going to jump in and save these three young people from having to answer that. We're quickly running out of time, but I do want to touch base on the competition for 2019. The 2019 competition will focus on bank implementation and economic impact of the recently passed regulatory relief bill. So this will be the first competition focused on the impact of public policy. And statements of academic interest are due by November 19th. So we look forward to another very active competition. And I guess, one, I would say that please, community bankers, there's a young man up here who needs a job with a community bank, whether he knows it or not. So I'm sure they will be around after this panel concludes. But I really want to just thank all the panelists for all your work on this. It was a great presentation. This truly is one of the highlights of this conference the last 4 years that this competition's been going on. So I would thank you for all your hard work, and I would ask everybody to give them a round of applause.
Okay, fellow regulators, when you see the modeling being done, do you feel a little bit intimidated that these students are so far ahead of where you were at that point in your life? You're like, oh, they're going to be so much smarter than me. Great job. The dean of the business school is where? Raise your hand. Can you just stand up so everyone can see? Yeah, thanks. Great job. I have to admit, yeah, great faculty, great students. This was the first year for this university to participate, which is amazing. Usually it takes a few years to get into the groove, and so we were all thrilled. And Charles, I have to tell you, it wasn't just you that was pretty thrilled. Loretta here said, that's in my district. So I said, well, Charles is a shared commissioner, so it's kind of mine too. And I didn't think that probably was quite right, but it sounded good. Also, just from the standpoint, Steve, of the bank, this ability to track customers and that age group, that little chart was amazing. I think that as we talked a lot today or earlier today at a meeting about liquidity and how banks are potentially at risk of losing those younger customers, you've got some data here that's pretty darn impressive, so you've got something good going on there. So thank you. We'll let you guys return to your seats. Thank you.